Thank you very much. Thanks a lot for inviting me. Very happy for being here with you and also sharing a little bit about my passion with AI and how we can make things better and easier as marketing professionals, or even if you're not a marketing professional, just how you can actually embrace AI to be able to power through workload and optimize time and do a lot of things that are extremely important for our day and age. But like I was introduced, my name is Marcelo Andrade. I am from Brazil, living in Australia. And who am I? Well, basically, I have been working a lot at advertising agencies with digital marketing, with places like Cannes, Havas, Wunderman, Starcom, and other agencies across Latin America, across the United States, in Asia Pacific. But I haven't just worked at advertising agencies or these types of places. I have also headed media and creative at NBC Universal, which was an extremely interesting opportunity where I could work with teams at Universal Pictures, teams at Warner Brothers Pictures as well, and understand how to leverage creative and storytelling through campaigns and also utilizing AI through that. Not only doing these things, I have also worked recently at Yahoo in Australia and Southeast Asia, where I've worked on implementing a dynamic creative system and also some ideations utilizing Mid-Journey and images to be able to create ideas that would engage Yahoo's clients and also their media investments and all of those things. So that was a very interesting opportunity where I was able to partner with a lot of people that was extremely smart globally and learn a lot from them as well. Okay. And right now I'm a marketing and communication consultant. I work with for-purpose organizations and advertising agencies as well, focusing on innovation and creative thinking. So basically, that's who I am, coming into talking to you about that. And thinking about AI, I'm going to start with a little bit of a timeline. Pretty sure a lot of people have already seen these things, but I think it's about the conversation that we have and how we see that. So just as a caveat, I don't own the images that I'm going to be sharing, and credit to whoever owns. But here it is. So basically, as a timeline, AI has been there for a very long time. It was just called something different. Okay, so if we think about what AI is, we might go back to, for example, old movies like Metropolis, or even black and white, very old movies where they had the automatons who were the robots, and that's already an AI. So that's something that comes. So a lot of people think that AI is just about the robots and that type of things, or some people just believe that because ChatGPT became something so important now that is AI. However, that's not true. Okay, so in the 50s, we already had the term artificial intelligence. That was something that was mostly based on films and also learning and starting those robots. For example, if you think about Star Wars in the 70s, you already had those robots and C3PO, R2D2, that's AI. So in the 60s, people started exploring natural language processing, which is how that intelligence, that artificial intelligence through computing would be able to communicate and reach out to people and talk to people and learn and generate the language. So it's a very long time, all the way until we got into the ChatGPT that, for example, I use every single day, even to proofread my emails. So In the 2000s, okay, so 40 years afterwards, we had like systems emerging where you had AI powered recommender of tailoring content recommendations based on preferences and behavior. We can see that every single day when we are browsing Instagram or TikTok or Facebook or any type of media that will learn from our behaviors and learn from our the things we've liked and clicked, and give us a recommendation of simple content, for example. A little bit of that as well, if you think about Siri on our iPhones, if you have an iPhone, for example, Siri, it has some recommendations. That's some level of AI that is not that evolved, but still comes from that type of AI powered recommender. And then in 2010, like you had like advanced natural language generation, where a lot of smart people starting to power through data sets and understanding how they could actually teach the machine to respond, and having the ability to generate texts has improved a lot. 2016, OpenAI, who was like the company that actually did skyrocket everything, started researching generative models, and ChatGPT came. For example, some of the use cases that I have on ChatGPT myself, like I said before, proofreading my emails, for example, or translating, like natural translation of things. I am from overseas. I live in Australia. I am Brazilian. I speak Portuguese. Sometimes I need to translate things to other languages. I have a sister-in-law. She is Chinese. She speaks Mandarin, and her parents also speak Mandarin. They do not speak English. So I use ChatGPT as an interpreter, which leads to what I truly believe the power of AI is, not only for us as marketing professionals or whatever profession you have, it enhances our lives. So some people think AI will come and will run my job or things like that. That's not necessarily true, okay? AI is basically there to enhance the lives of ourselves and anyone else. I said that I work with for purpose organizations, for example, and I see examples in real life of how AI is actually enhancing people's lives and how they are actually able to interact. For example, if you are working in disability services. One example, a voice assistant like Alexa or like a Google Assistant, Google Home, and all of those things. That's a level of AI. And it has a benefit to assist people with mobility impairments, for example, or visual impairments on daily tasks. As like at the introduction, they said that like I do triathlons and stuff, and I also am a guide for visually impaired athletes. So I run with a visually impaired athlete, and I see them. Okay, they cannot see, so I kind of guide them through their running and obstacles and everything. And after that run, I can observe them actually using voice assistants to record or to start their watches. Hey Siri, start my run. Hey Siri, do that. That's a level of AI that's already enhancing people's lives. Okay. Another example, smart wheelchairs. So for example, there's like a few companies like Wheelie and the Model C2, enhancing the mobility independence through AI navigation and obstacle avoidance. In a world, for example, where something like this would be able to use AI technology, just like kind of the technology you have on a ChatGPT, to be able to take someone that is not able to walk independently or to move independently, and to be able to guide them and give people independence. So that example For example, for someone living with disabilities, independence is something that is far-fetched. It's very hard for them to achieve, okay? But through AI, it makes it easier because it enhances their lives. And AI-driven apps, like, for example, Be My Eyes or Seeing AI, those are things that are providing real-time assistance and information for people with visual impairments. So basically, if we think about all that evolution through time of artificial intelligence, language models, and all of those things, they are not here, one, to steal our jobs, like some people say, and like we have a lot of news about those things. We have to flip our mindset to say, okay, so basically it enhances our lives. And that's how we have to see it. So if we see it from a positive angle, we will be able to use it on our daily lives and actually deliver way more. So with that in mind, the idea here is being AI ready in digital marketing. Why do we actually need AI in digital marketing? Well, the answer is quite simple, because digital marketing is just so complex. I've seen these images everywhere, and again, credit to the ones who created these images, but they're just examples of how complex the ecosystem of digital marketing is. And in a time where time, like resources and the time that resources have to power through information is so limited, we need something that will enhance ourselves to be able to process information. We can see here on the left side of the screen, we have a marcoms and marketing ecosystem with a publisher ecosystem with so many companies. And we have like DSPs and agency trading desks, exchanges, and all of those media things that are very important. We have the ad networks. I can see Yahoo right up there, for example, where I worked. We have a lot of those things. So the flow of information between all of those areas, when someone, for example, has an idea, let's sell a phone, for example, that gets like, for example, someone at Apple briefs an agency, the agency builds a brief and then creates assets. The assets are expensive. It just goes along, and then you have to go through all of that ecosystem until an ad is published. And that takes like what, 10 months and a lot of resources. So AI can actually enhance that. And you see on the right side of the screen, we have here a customer lifecycle touchpoint summary. There are so many touchpoints. We have, like, from the beginning there on demand generation and purchase intent, we have like SEO, and we have PPC. We have so much on the reach stage. And then we have like, we are reaching out for people, we are paying media, and that takes a lot of strategizing, a lot of things. So AI actually will help us in one single thing to make your life easier. Okay, so we have to understand, so we can make it easier for us to make informed decisions, to utilize media dollars, or to create assets, or to do anything that's actually going to be around some of the key points that I truly believe that are the ones that are more important for digital marketing. And those are, for example, one of like the best use cases that I have, enhancing customer personalization. So for example, we have, say that, using the example of launching an iPhone, and I have a lot of data about, for example, an audience profile, Generation Z, young, they are creators, they are all over Instagram, all over TikTok. And my concept for the iPhone, let's say that is, actually the Apple just launched an AI system for their iPhone 15 and plus, so which helps, and Samsung also has a lot of AI systems embedded within their phones. But say that we just want to create assets that are tapping into customers' passion points. And I am creating a campaign, and this is what I do daily. I'm creating a campaign for iPhone for music lovers, people that love music, and say that I have one single asset that one agency created. It costed, like, say, $100,000 for it to be created, and I need to then create options of those ads, okay, for music lovers. And then I can process that information. I have a chart later on about that. Process that information and create almost instantly options of those assets, enhancing the customer personalization. So my communication becomes more personalized to people's passion points, and using AI so I don't have to actually do that so many times and use too many resources for that. So as a marketing professional, that's very useful. Another thing is optimizing ad spend and targeting. So say that we've created this ad for music lovers. We need to then focus our communication and focus our media spend towards that type of audiences. And then through systems and AI and machine learning, I will be able to optimize the ad spend towards people that have liked my music or enjoyed music or are actually engaging with that. And that's where data partnerships also come in. For example, I can build a data partnership with Spotify. I can build a data partnership with Live Nation that has events all over the world, and I can target people automatically using my asset that was created automatically. And then that all goes into improving content creation and curation as well, selecting the types of content that people actually like. So I've created 3 options of ads. Automatically, the ones that are clicked and the ones that are more engaging will stay on my campaign, and the ones that are not will move on. Boosting customer engagement and satisfaction, which is something that's extremely important, because once, for example, we are able to use chatbots and more like smarter chatbots, they're actually able to boost that engagement and satisfaction and increasing overall efficiency in marketing operations. So all of that will be able to make everything more optimized and minimize the investment of resources, and being able to, for example, allow teams and people to invest more time on thinking rather than doing. So it's not about not having teams, it's about using the teams that we have to think about better solutions instead of just powering through data or creative or assets or things like that. So just a basic chart on AI in the creative process, which with just how it works. So for example, in concept development, I was kind of talking through that. AI tools for brainstorming and idea generation. That's something that's used a lot at agencies. For example, ChatGPT for content ideas. You can actually use ChatGPT to create ideas, to give you ideas, and this is something that a lot of agencies do. And then you use your copywriter or your art director to actually flesh those ideas out and select whatever works best. So instead of a turnaround of 2 days to come up with 10 ideas, you would have a turnaround of 1 day, and you'll be able to actually have 100 ideas from a ChatGPT, for example, and then you select the 10 and evolve those 10 and make it even better. And the same thing goes with, for example, Canva AI design suggestions. So it just suggests things, and they are very easy for people to achieve and to do that as well. Okay, AI-driven copy. Go ahead, yes.
Can you show us how we do that on either ChatGPT and Canva? Would you be able to show us?
I think so. Just give me an example.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I think you can see my screen there. Happy to do the live example. Let's give a live example here. Well, it's even saying create a content calendar for a TikTok account and stuff. It has it, but what's the most important thing is how you prompt AI. That's something like I have an 8-year-old son, and I am teaching him already how to prompt AI because it's important for them to know. So prompting AI means actually writing what AI will do for you. Okay. So for example, please, I always say please to the AI because maybe one day they will take over the world and they might remember that I said please and will spare me. But anyway, please imagine I am a creative copywriter at a agency and need to build a iPhone. Sorry, it's a typo. iPhone campaign, focusing on Gen Z and music as a passion point. Can you come up with 3 concepts for Instagram stories? For example, okay, soundtrack of your life, and then it starts to build like that. So let's look a little bit about them. It's even giving us some tips here of visual tips, for example, and say that was my brief. Say that you are in a marketing team, or you're an SEO professional, or you're just like a social media manager. You come up with this. You have 3 concepts. Let's say concept 1, soundtrack of your life. Starts with a close-up of a shot of an iPhone screen filled with music apps like Apple Music or Spotify, cut to snippets of Gen Z individuals in diverse settings, on the subway, in their rooms, at a party, listening intensively to their iPhones. So that's a nice visual reference. I think it's easy to see that. Your life, your beat. Let your iPhone be your soundtrack. Call for action, tap to discover how your iPhone amplifies. And say that this is one concept that we like. I say, okay, so please expand on concept 1 and give me a content plan for that. Thanks, or else one day they might come after me. Then you have the same thing, a montage and all of that. It starts evolving, and then you start working on highlighting the feature, seamless integration, a content plan, story 1, introduction, visual, text overlay, engagement, story 2, story 3, story 4, and so on. So, for example, this is what you could then generate lots and lots of ideas, and then say, please also make a blog post. Blog post optimized for SEO keywords related to iPhone. And it will create something like that. This is not just to be copied and pasted. Basically, that's a real life example. And here we have the optimized keywords, we have all of those things, elevator music, you have the conclusion, you're doing that. And just making sure that, like, my first point is clear. This is not to replace a professional that does this. This is to make the work easier and more diverse, as well as someone would then use this as an example to start some work, to start doing the work. Okay, did that clarify how that works? You can also use, there's Copilot. Copilot is already embedded on the Microsoft Edge browser. and you can log in and use Copilot. It even creates some really interesting visuals if you want. ChatGPT, I'm using the logged off option. I have my logged on account, and I have DAL-E as well that creates visuals. I could create a LinkedIn post. Make it a LinkedIn post too. And then it just creates a LinkedIn post that I could just copy and paste and put on LinkedIn. But the idea is not copying and paste, it's just evolving everything. Okay? Cool.
So you don't recommend that we copy and paste, right?
Oh, no. No.
Do you recommend?
I don't think just copying and paste. I think because by the end of the day, for example, there are some things that the GPT, for example, could not yet solve, which are, for example, some redundancies on the type of content. Sometimes it just repeats itself, and it's not fully accurate. So we could make mistakes. Any type of AI could make mistakes. So it is just to kickstart, and then I think you should put your own type of language to it to make
And
it
personal touch as well, the human touch.
Yeah. To make it human touch, because or else that's why we have to do it. We have like it's about storytelling. So that's that example. Just move back, and please ask away. Happy to ask. This is a round table to be asked stuff and to show things.
Thank you so much. That's helpful. Yes.
So yeah, that's like content creation and all of those things, and personalization, which this is way more complex. Okay, so the personalization and the dynamic content creative is something that actually requires a lot of strategy, and it requires a lot of systems. Say, for example, we've created a campaign for the iPhone, and that campaign, we are going to launch that through, and like I said before, we have the audience of the music lovers, and say that I want to have a sports lover as well, and someone that's like, for example, I actually have this brief right now, which is like Gen Z, passion points, music, travel, and sports. And then I need to create assets, and those assets are like ads and little videos and things like that. I'll need to do dynamic creative as we move along a customer journey, which is a way more complex thing, but it's also really important. Just a little bit on that, and again, I don't own this image here. I did not create that, but I use it as an example, which I think is extremely important. Say that we are starting with that AI content generation, which is the example I just gave. For example, we can use that as a bedrock to start something, to start a campaign, or to kick off like 10 ideas in a heartbeat, and we can start using that. So you have AI content generation, and you can process all of that. And then you can add a layer of AI data augmentation and management, which is where those data partnerships, say that we built a partnership with the likes of Spotify that's available. We need to have a system that will connect, say, for example, a marketing team at a company. Let's start using another example now. A big example like American Express, which I worked for a long time. We have, say that we are creating some content for a American Express Platinum credit card, and we want to focus on travelers and people that are traveling, and we have a partnership with, say, for example, a very large, like British Airways, for example, or Qantas airline here in Australia. And then we start utilizing data management. American Express brings their data management system, connects their first-party database with Qantas or British Airways or Emirates Airlines first-party database, and starts to process assets according to the information that they have. And then at the end of this presentation, I talk a little bit about legal and ethics as well, which plays a very big part. After that data augmentation and management, we have to go through segmentation and personalization. So we understood that we have one asset that was created at the beginning, enhanced and augmented with the data sets of first-party databases from American Express and Emirates, for example. That has to be processed and used to personalize that initial asset that we had at the beginning. Then it goes through automated channel and programs. So that becomes a SEO blog, that becomes an EDM, that becomes an Instagram post, that becomes other things, and it's produced that way. Then it scores and has also sales guidance, because the whole idea of this campaign is to sell more credit cards to people that are actually at Emirates Airlines, for example. So we need to understand, to generate the leads, and that those leads go through AI insights to understand which are the best leads and worst leads, selected and then processed. And that becomes the whole campaign. So this is kind of like a full circle AI-led campaign that you can do for either an American Express or for a bakery down the road. Of course, the bakery down the road would use way simpler systems that would be free and available, mostly ChatGPT, to process that information. And larger corporations would have their own systems because of all of the reach that they have. Which leads to saying, oh, that's too complex. How can we manage those things? It's so complex. Well, it is complex, but also AI can help out on that. So for example, every marketing team and every company should start looking at cross-functional teams or building team structures that go across, for example, marketing, data scientists. Data scientists are so important, more and more and more, because it's extremely important to process data, and also the AI specialists, and collaborate on building that team structure that has specialists. It's impossible for a marketing professional, for example, to be a specialist in AI, because there's so much. You have to be a specialist in marketing and use AI to enhance that marketing. So whenever companies have resources, okay, it's very good to bring in those specialists, having at least a consultant or someone that can actually go through all of that. Workflow integration, which, for example, once you have a team structure of everything, you need to integrate existing workflows. And it's not reinventing the wheel. It's not that now we're going to start doing all of our process, our marketing process. Say, for example, writing an SEO blog. Now we have to build a whole new process. No, you have to add a step of AI optimization or whatever it is, and focus on training and upskilling team members. For example, training on prompt writing, being able to write the right things to get the right response from AI, from a ChatGPT, for example, and upskilling the team members to move them away from doing stuff to thinking about stuff and making better decisions. So, for example, instead of people just processing data, it's people analyzing data and looking at the data that AI has processed. Instead of people just writing 100 lines of copy, it's people selecting and improving 10 lines of copy. And then that's the same person. So you have to invest on upskilling the teams that are already doing the work. The other things, I think it's very important, like performance monitoring and understanding, because it's honestly, it's so hard to keep track of, like we have so many campaigns and so many things happening, keeping track of engagement and conversion rates, and then you need people just to do that. And I've seen throughout my career post-campaign reports that were just data on a PowerPoint slide without analysis. And I was always saying, please guys, let's just analyze that data. Oh, but there is no time, because it's so hard for us to grab the data, process the data, build a slide, get an image, and work on the presentation, and there is just not enough time. to analyze the data, which is the only important thing when you are doing a post-campaign report, like what happened and what's next. So it's kind of like using AI tools for reporting. Google Analytics has, there are like way others as well, which I think is very important. But anyway, with managing AI projects, again, there is like this image, and I can quote who is, because like Girl's Guide to Project Management.com, which is pretty cool. And it's a simple application of AI to project management, not necessarily just to marketing, but just some simple steps that will help, because we could just get overwhelmed with so much, so maybe there are some steps that AI can actually like that we can use, like estimating tasks and resources. That's very important. For example, I am estimating like they're like Monday.com that actually uses some AI to be able to estimate tasks and resources. Asana as well, it's embedding AI into their scheduling of task systems and stuff. Sequencing and collating data, which is so hard, which is the example of the post-campaign analysis. Predicting costs and schedule overruns. That for me is the most important thing, because in a time where we are now with like economical crisis and resources being stretched thin, we need to predict costs and overruns when we are scheduling campaigns and all of those things and media. So it's very important. And AI can kind of be like a buddy check system, if I am alone doing the project, I use AI as a buddy to predict the cost and everything and see if I'm just making sense. And then predictive analytics and trends. Okay, but then the beginning, we said like being AI ready and stuff. So we need to go through some steps, easy steps to prepare an organization for that. So for example, one thing, I am a strategist by trade. I started working in advertisement as a strategist. And I truly believe that it's always about one single question. Why? Why do I need this? What do I want to achieve afterwards, So why are you doing this? Do you want operational efficiencies? That would be a whole set of other things. Is it resource management? Is it automatic reporting? Is it just creative effectiveness? Why do you have to do that? And then like you can create a workshop around, talk with senior management. And if you are the senior manager, work with your teams to unlock the why you want to use. And here's just one thing. It's like, oh, I don't think I need to use. Sorry, you do need, because it's kind of like what I'm telling my son when he's like 8-year-old. He's 8-year-old and he wants to play Roblox and do his funny things and stuff. And I said, yeah, but just type it in or talk to GPT and say, what's the best way to do this thing at Roblox, which is one game that he likes. So whoever masters this first will have an advantage. So find the why, and honestly, if you don't think you do need. Understand technology and infrastructure. This is extremely important, because it doesn't matter if you have a very long vision. It's so cool. We're gonna change the world with AI, but I don't have infrastructure. That's why I said like data scientists, they're extremely important for this. Data platforms or IT platforms supporting, and even, for example, internet connection. So you need a lot of bandwidth of internet connection to be able to work on all of these things. Mostly it's in the cloud, so you need a good and reliable connection. So those are very important things. Find the why. Why do we want to do this? We want operational efficiencies. We are spending this amount of money here. We want people to be free to think about solutions and not just doing tasks. We do not have a reliable internet. We need to change providers. Or we do not have all of these security and privacy systems in place. We need to be able to put those things into practice, into place. And I think one of the most important things, skill development. And I said a little bit about that before. I think it is training program for staff. We need to train people because, for example, I wasn't born when there was like a lot of internet connection. I had to learn about that. My son was born in a world connected with internet, so it's more fluent and natural for him. But that doesn't mean that people cannot be taught. So we need to focus on training programs from a simple prompt writing to elaborated uses of how you do AI and all of those things, and hiring AI specialists to create projects. There are a few there, and I think that prompt engineering is going to be extremely important as well. So I think that those are very important things. And another one, culture and mindset. Okay, you have to foster in your companies and your workplaces a culture of innovation and experimentation. Okay, it's about test and learn, it's about innovation and encouraging collaboration and knowledge sharing. If you don't have a culture and a mindset to put all of this into place, people will get anxious, you will have people burning out, and you will be able to actually improve and enhance your culture. So you have to think about culture and the mindset you put in your organization. So in businesses, just getting almost to the end, and I know that we're about time. AI application in businesses, just a summing up, okay? You can use that just like a massive summary. Automate processes that are laborious and things like that, like for example, just processing data or selecting leads and all of those things. Making informed and data-driven decisions. You can get like a massive spreadsheet and process that through AI and come up with the key points and then make informed decisions in a heartbeat. Enhance customer experiences through chatbots and more personalized information. Make predictions and use those predictions not as rules, but as an insight for you to make a proper informed decision. Optimize promotional efforts. So for example, you have 3 videos and you don't want to spend money on all of those 3 and meet investments. You can optimize those promotional efforts and just use the ones that are actually being engaged with. Valuable insights from your audiences, and also analyzing vast amounts of data, which for me, for example, is the best. And just finally, we cannot talk about AI without some legal and ethical considerations. I think it's extremely important. I'm going to give you an example. I was doing something with Yahoo, and it was a map, beautiful idea, could not run because we were going to use AI to generate new, fresh ideas out of people's prompts and images with the brand. However, we could not guarantee that we would have the rights of the images that AI would learn to create new images. So we had to use a data bank that we had full royalties over every single image that AI would use to learn. And that's a legal consideration. So it's very complex. Lawyers are also very important, just as data scientists. So data privacy, compliance, like I was saying, GDPR, CCPA, and lots of other regulations. There will always be a new one. So we need to make sure that the use of AI is within that data privacy. We are respecting people's data. We are being ethical about data collection and usage. We need the rights and we need consent to use people's data and to use any type of information. That's extremely important. Transparency when using AI. We have to say this was generated through AI. This was used AI. I've prompted AI. It's very important for us to say that. And because we build trust. if we don't say we're doing AI, and then someone finds out we are using AI to build all of those assets, or like a LinkedIn post, you say, yes, I've used AI to enhance this LinkedIn post, and I've used AI to build this image. These are not my images, for example. So you have to do that, and then you'll build trust with your audiences. And one thing that AI still not there yet is bias and fairness, because we need to every time think about addressing AI biases and marketing algorithms, so we don't have those examples of and I've seen so many examples over LinkedIn and in press and stuff where AI created some image of a person based on a bias that is within information. So AI, although it's artificial intelligence, not yet is so evolved to be able to understand nuances and cultural nuances as a human being does. So, for example, there is a lot of gender bias, race bias, image bias on image generators generated by AI. So we have to be mindful. That's why never copy and paste, always read, always think a little bit about that. And ensuring there is fair representation in AI generated content. Okay. So for example, if you prompt something, and then you can do that on your own time, and come up with your examples. If you prompt a AI image generator system on a board meeting, please create an image of a board meeting. Most likely, unfortunately, because of context and bias, that image might be more of males with suits, white. That's not AI's fault. That's the information, the whole information. So you have to ensure that there is fair representation, because by the end of the day, it's our responsibilities to pave the way to the future and pave the way to new thinking and innovation. And if we are using AI ethically and thinking about all of those things, we might even achieve that. And that was my last thing,